Hey everyone, it's Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I will show you how I prepare one of the freebie sketches that I share on MistyHilltops.com for printing. This works with any of the sketches that are shared on MistyHilltops.com. I'm planning on trimming the paper by hand, so I don't need to make preparations that involve having to use my cutting machine. Also, if you don't have a silhouette cutting machine, but one of the other machines, you should be able to use the SVG file to work with whatever machine you have. As far as I know, this is not limited to silhouette machines. Before you do anything else with a sketch, I strongly recommend that you copy and paste everything into a new document so you're not working with the original file if you care about preserving the original file. Once you open it, you see that it is fully functional. That means all the layers are preserved and can be worked with. This is the second installation of a three-part series on how to work with these sketches. In the first part, I show you the different ways you can use with a sketch. In this video, I take you through the process of preparing the sketch, which is a fully workable template so you can print it. And in the last installation, I will show you how this becomes an actual layout. So let's get started. I've already moved the template into a new document and started to spread out the papers in the design space. Now I need to start pulling the designer papers in. If this doesn't work in your machine software, the Silhouette Studio app is free and you can download it even when you don't have a Silhouette machine. For this layout, I'm working with the collection Transatlantic Travel from Carta. And as I showed in the previous video, I already created a square 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 inches shape into which I then drag and drop the designer papers. When you drag and drop, make sure you drop the paper into the shape that you want it to go. Don't just drop it onto the Silhouette workspace. It'll turn out huge and you have to resize and everything. And when you've already done the work and created a size for the paper that you want to use. Because I don't want to continue to create 8-inch squares to pull my papers in, once I pull the paper into the square, I copy and paste it and use that with the shapes. I move the paper over the shape that I want it to be cut to, then select both layers and crop it using the tool in the tool panel. So here it has received the paper and the shape can go onto the workspace that I have there. And I have set it so that it shows the printing marks, and these are more important than the cut marks actually. So in the settings you can set up the cut marks and the printing marks for your Silhouette design space. I've set up the paper size to A4 because that's the size that I'm working with. If you are working with letter or a different size, then you'd obviously have to set up your page differently. But I'm working with A4 and I am continuing to pull in papers into the square, copy, paste, then use that copy, pull that over the shape that I want to take the paper, and then I continue to do that with every shape. And I actually ended up redoing that design, the layers and stuff, so I could see how it works with the contrast of the papers and all that. So I'm actually rebuilding the template to see how the papers work together. You can see that right now is happening here. And so that is the beauty of working with digital papers. You can just play around, you can change the papers without actually ever losing the paper, whereas you can't do that if you cut actual paper, because once it's cut, it's cut. So I continue doing this and I will speed it up even more. I continue doing this with all the shapes that I have in this sketch or template, and I continue to add the papers to the various shapes and then crop them to those shapes. Once I've filled every shape of the template with paper, I then begin to spread the individual papers on the print page in a way that wastes as little paper as possible. You see, it even has a circle there, and I plan to use my die cut to cut out that circle rather than fussy cutting it by hand. In the end, I discovered that I have some more space on my page to pull in some of the ephemera that comes with the collection. So in order to use up the space, I just pull in a bunch of elements, some of which I resize. Some of them I leave with a little extra space because I'm planning to use some of my die cuts with that. This is how you can use the sketch and see how I prepare it for printing. One important thing to do before you send this file to the printer is that you remove all the black outlines from the shapes or set them to a thickness of 0. If you don't do this, the outlines will print and might show when you cut your shapes. There will be a video on how I print and cut with a silhouette and get perfect prints each time, but that is for another time. In the next installment, I will use the printed paper to put together my layout. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. You can find the sketch as a freebie on MistyHilltops.com. Consider giving this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.